Welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It is episode 123. 123. It's like the count in, I guess, the Muppets. Woo,
Uh,
ah.
uh, uh, uh.
Exactly. With me, of course, are my two awesome co-hosts. To my left is Mr. John Tracy, and to my right, of course, is Steve Murray. Gentlemen, great to be with you both, of course. Happy to have everybody with you and us, I guess. My name's Matt Craig, somehow the supposed host of this podcast. But in any event, guys, it's a little cold out. Steve is all bundled up over there. We have the deep chill up here in the Northeast. Steve, how are you holding up? Is the heater working? That's my question.
The heater is working. Just,
Oh, God.
taking extra precaution here. When I woke up this morning, it was 10.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then of course Johnny in Texas, he's had the deep freeze and now he's given it to us as a gift. John, thank you.
Send it right up to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Still, as of today, Austin has 40% no power. Texas cannot handle. I feel bad for people in Dallas more than down where I'm at.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. My God. But it seems to be almost like an every other year thing now, where you guys get the deep freeze in Texas and then it disappears, and it's supposed to be 70 tomorrow down there?
I think it might be 65 right now.
That's crazy.
It's really hard to pick a wardrobe for work during this time.
I bet it would
It's really hard. It's really hard.
I bet.
I'll be in a t-shirt in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, it's supposed to be like in the 50s, I think, later on this week.
That's good.
I think like this is turning. Yeah, so it's like no snow, which is crazy. But at the same time, it's like I don't mind not shoveling snow either, to be honest.
You can kiss my ass. I want to go sledding, goddammit.
Yeah, exactly. Siberia, 1918. But it was like
trudging up the hill.
Trudging up the hill. Oh God. Oh, I remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, guys, before we kick off with the first topic, I think we had, what was it? Do we have like an over 40 rant, or was it the fun fact?
Well, no, we're changing it up a little.
Okay.
Still to be sponsored by Dubby.
Of course, yes. W Energy Drinks. Go to w.gg, of course. And if you go there, you place an order. By the way, Blue Raspberry is still in stock, I think.
Right.
But you go in there, you place an order. At checkout, enter in the code 2NoobsTalking, TOO Noobs Talking. You get 10% off your order. W.gg. So let's change it up a little bit. Johnny, what do you got?
You better be fact checking that blueberry stuff, man. Because if people go there and it's not available, your head's going to roll.
I know.
You get 10% of something else. How about that?
What do you got for us, Johnny?
So I will set this up very quickly. So I found a question on the internet. It was a poll taken about a year ago, maybe even a year and a half ago. But it was so hilarious to me that I thought, hey, why not ask Steve and Matt these questions and see how much smarter they are than the Americans that took this poll. So the question, and there will be, it'll make sense as soon as I say the question. The question is, which of these following animals, if any, do you think you could beat in a fight if you were unarmed?
Ooh.
So when I give you the animal, give me the percentage.
Okay.
That you think that you think, not you, but that Americans would say
typical
that they could beat it. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to read us all the choices first, or are we going to have
No, one at a time. One at a time.
Got it. Go for it.
Well, wait. I can't pick a percentage if I don't know what the breakdown is. Like, are there choices, 5 choices? What?
No, it's per animal.
It's per animal.
Oh, so how many people? What? Okay, I got it.
You think they could beat up said animal?
Yeah.
In a fight unarmed.
Got it.
So let's start with the lowest that we have on this list is the grizzly bear.
Oh God. Unarmed, I would say I was going to go 0%. I was going to go say 2%.
Okay.
2% on that.
I think there's going to be some macho head cases out there who will say they can. So I'm going to go 12%.
Wow. The answer is 6%. So 6% of Americans believe, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
So we'll move on.
Overestimated. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll move on to the lion.
The lion. See, whenever I think the lion, I automatically think of Aslan. You know, and he just like completely could kill you like within like a minute. 1%, Johnny, on that. 1%.
I'm gonna go 7%.
Ooh, nice. Very close. It falls in 6%.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay, so the same 6% of dumbasses in this country
Yes.
who think
Yes.
they could beat up a grizzly think they could beat up a lion. Okay.
So we're gonna move on to the crocodile.
I'm going to say for that one, 12%. I'm going to say 12% on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 15.
Ooh.
I mean, Steve Irwin already showed you could. So.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they weren't watching because only 9% of people.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
Huh.
So let's move up to the kangaroo.
Oh man, kangaroo. So you've got like history here with with Wile E. Coyote, boxing the kangaroo. That great bit. 25%, John. I'm going to say 1 out of every 4 Americans think they could box with a kangaroo. Yeah.
I'm going to say 20%, but they're completely wrong. If you've ever seen a kangaroo fight, they are dangerous MFers.
Yes. So I guess 14% is reasonable.
Okay. All right.
Basically, the whole MMA class can fight a kangaroo and nobody else.
I understand they have really sharp claws, though. So you could
see
that's not a good thing if you get kicked.
Quick disclaimer for me: if any of these things are trying to fight me, I'm leaving. I'm not even entertaining.
The other way. Yeah.
No. Can I get you some food? So let's move on to this weird one here. The eagle.
The eagle.
What kind of eagle?
Like a bald eagle. I'm assuming.
I'm going to say 5.
I'm going to have to.
I'm going to say 5%.
Yeah, I'm going to go bald eagle.
I'm going to say. I'm going to say like 5%. One quick punch. I don't know how you would do it, but I'd say one lucky punch knocks the bird out. You're done. You know, that kind of deal.
I'm going to say 20% because people are going to think they can take an eagle.
Yes. 30% of people.
Interesting.
Do you guys realize how huge the bald eagle is? I just want to make that motion. Like, this thing is not your robin of a bird, okay? This thing is massively huge. I mean,
I know that. And you know that, but the 30% of people don't know that.
30% of people don't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So let's go 2 more. 2 more, because one is hilarious, because I don't think it's even, I don't think people even understand their own pets for this one. But the first, before that, let's go with the chimpanzee.
Ooh, man. Mm-hmm. Those things don't play.
No. Gonna say 12% on that one, Johnny. 12%.
I'm gonna go with the same 6% of knuckleheads who are on grizzly bear and lion. Because a chimpanzee can use a weapon, man. Shit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but they didn't say the animal wasn't unarmed. You were.
Yeah, exactly. You are unarmed.
A chip's got opposable thumbs. He's ready to go. 17% of the Americans that took this poll, which it was like 2,000 to 3,000 people that took this poll. They think that they could whoop his ass.
I would love to watch them try to fight a chimpanzee. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Exactly.
They would lose. They would absolutely lose.
Yeah.
So let's finish off with a little bit of humor. This has been fun. We got to find more of these because I like this.
Love it.
So we'll move on to the house cat. And that's our last one.
Okay. I always make this comment on Facebook, and it's 100% true. Cats are 100% evil creatures. There's no question about it. They are evil. They are not cute. They're evil. They are murderous human beings.
I think the
beings
cute
of any kind.
The cute makes them evil because they have the
course.
ability. They have the ability to
absolutely.
to lull you in for
100%. Yeah,
How
they
can
are
you- How can you
they
say
are the
mad at that
animal's
face?
version of complete and utter total
Exactly.
depravity. They are complete and utter totally depraved animals. With that being said, 50%. I'm going to say one out of every two people say they can kick their cat's ass. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Steve, you
80%.
have a couple.
I do. Well, I
You feel
don't
me?
have occasion. I don't have occasion to beat them unarmed. So
Yeah.
69% of Americans.
69.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm shocked at how low that people like. They think
That's
they
what
would
I
use
thought.
it.
I thought people were coming in with like the lion at 6%. I was figuring most people would be like, I could whoop his ass. Like, that'd be no problem.
Now there is only one person who I think could beat every single one of those animals, and that's the dwarf from The Hobbit,
There
who's
you go.
in there punching the giant spiders in the face.
Yeah,
While everyone else is like using swords and weapons, he's in there bare knuckle boxing with this giant 8-foot
Whooping-
spider,
whooping this spider's butt.
kicking
Yeah,
him
exactly.
in the rear end. Yeah, he was good.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh man, that's a great poll. That's
Thank
really
you.
hilarious.
Thank you
It's
for
not
the
his balls.
experiment, fellas. That was fun.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and go into topic number one. And let's go talking a little EAGLES Eagles, shall we? The NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, about ready to getting close to flying outside to Super Bowl 57 to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona. Guys, I mean, what an amazing year for these Eagles. Of course, way back, episode 99, throw that in the card in the upper right-hand corner of our screen.
Gretzky episode.
The Gretzky episode, we all predicted 11-6, and they far exceeded our expectations. We all had them going to the playoffs, home playoff game, and then maybe everything would be gravy at that point, would depend on the matchups and everything. No one on this podcast predicted them to be the number one seed in the NFC. No one on this podcast said, oh, well, Jalen Hurts is going to throw for 3,000 yards. You have two 1,500-yard receivers. You have Miles Sanders going for 1,200 yards. Everyone's going to be healthy. No one said anything about that. The closest we did get was, Matt, I did have the order in the standings. I did correctly predict that correctly. And I did say that if Jalen throws for 2/3 of his passes, we would win the division. That did happen. But that's about the extent of it.
Don't strain your shoulder. Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying not to over here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't get
that.
that Brock Purdy injury.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to tear the UCL off. But guys, let's talk about this. This amazing team. And Johnny, I'll go with you first.
Okay.
What are your overall thoughts on this? Do you think they've got a shot against the Chiefs? Let's just talk about this amazing team here. Go for it. What do you got?
I only have really one answer. I had it against I said the same thing about the Giants. I said the same thing about the Cowboys. You got to score points to beat this team. Kansas City can score points, but you got to score points against our defense. Our extremely dominant defense. Apparently, when the playoffs started, they got even better than they were in the regular season. So it's going to be a fun game. It's the first time I'm looking forward to a game, and I don't know. I actually don't know who's going to win. I know who I want to win, but I have no idea. Like, Mahomes could go off, and we could be watching something amazing. They've got a great team. There's nothing really. Their defense isn't as good as our defense. Their offense is good as our offense. And I think our special teams is wash, except for the punter. Their punter is far better than our punter. So, but I think kicking wise, I think the kicking game is decent. They're very evenly matched. I mean, if they're going to win on punter and we're going to win on coverage, defensive coverage, it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah. Could come down to a one possession, who has the ball last kind of a game. sounds like, yeah.
And what two awesome
Um,
quarterbacks to have in a game that comes down to the last
Oh.
possession.
Oh my
Just
gosh,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just amazing.
that's part of the problem with the Super Bowl is it's like, 52, we were up against the evil Empire and evil
Yeah.
Tom
Mhm.
Brady and evil Bill Belichick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't hate Patrick Mahomes, so
No,
No.
no, don't
No,
hate.
it's-
I don't hate Andy. I don't hate this. I don't hate many of the players. I mean, maybe Juju. I can hate a little bit because former Steeler. Like I could just
Yeah,
hate
he's
him.
probably not going to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's it. Like there is. Like how can you hate Travis Kelce? He's just like his brother. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't hate him.
They're
I don't want to
mirror-
see him
they're
play
mirroring
well,
each
but
other.
I like him.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Yeah. I think for me, this team has just surprised me the entire year. No one ever expected them to go. What was it like 8 or 9-0? I forget how far it was until the Commanders game, which I think was week 10. I think
Something
if
like
I
that.
remember right. Yeah. So they went like 8-0 at the start. They go 14, like 13-1 before they lose a couple of games. Cowboy Saints was two losses in a row before they win against the Giants.
Different
And then,
quarterback.
they just have, yeah, but then the domination that they have played at the Giants. We all knew who the Giants were, but I don't think anybody expected the domination that the Eagles displayed in that game, like from start to finish. No one expected that. And equally as impressive against the 49ers, they're coming in with a top-ranked D. We come in. It was a slugfest, no question about it, and we did knock out their starting quarterback. But for a while there, it was a little back and forth. It was a little uneasy in that second quarter if you were watching the entire game
Right.
and weren't caught up in the hysteria of Devontae Smith's non-catch. It was washed away by Christian McCaffrey running into the end zone for a touchdown. So I don't want to hear anything in terms of like any sort of like conspiracy, NFL's rigged, all that kind of nonsense. It washed itself out, and it was still a game at that point.
What a great play by a young kid too, knowing he didn't catch
What a
it.
catch, yeah.
What knowing he doesn't catch it, falling to the ground, and instead of doing the whole first down, look at me, I'm a
Yeah.
wide receiver, looks right at his quarterback and goes,
Goes
huddle
this.
up.
Huddle
Let's
up.
get this thing handled. I
Yeah.
love their ability to, they know the game. They
Yeah.
play the game like they play the game like they practice the game. I've heard their coach say that a million times. Like their practice habits are great. They play the
Yeah.
game smart.
Well, and their pitch counts, like in terms of the reps that they're doing, everybody was kind of ragging on Sirianni. Hey, how come you're not, putting him through the ringer here? And he's like, why would I do that? I mean, it's outside the box thinking. Why would I do that? I have all my starters healthy
Mhm.
heading into this Super Bowl, whereas like again, Kansas City banged up in a couple of key spots. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I want to get Mr. Steve Murray's thoughts. Steve, what do you think here about this team and the season and thoughts on the Super Bowl?
It's been a great surprising season. When we first started, I said I had questions about Jalen, and he answered them all.
Yeah.
So no problems there.
None.
And he's what he's done is remarkable. I wish he could have not gotten hurt so we could have beaten the Cowboys in the second game. Ultimately, I think that injury is probably going to cost him the MVP. But if we walk off with the Super Bowl trophy, I don't really care.
Does run.
Yeah, I don't think he cares either.
Nah. Nah.
He's not an individual guy at all. So
No.
Yeah, no, and that's what I love about him. He is so his approach to the game is so good. It's just as from a leadership perspective, from a team player, just his attitude, his work ethic is phenomenal. And I hope in Super Bowl he gets rewarded for it ultimately.
Yeah.
Because I think he deserves it after all the work he's put in here.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a quarterback in this city, guys, that has had a laser-like focus as Jalen Hurts has had. I can't think of anyone else outside of maybe Donovan. But Donovan would make boneheaded decisions every once in a while.
Donovan, to me, he got distracted a lot by
He did.
outside noise, and I don't
Yeah.
think that bothers Jalen at all.
It doesn't apply to this guy. He just was like, whatever. You know,
The
he
co-
just sits there. He's just like, we're gonna just get him next week and whatever. And
the coolest story I've seen of him this year was after the Giants game with the bye week, where he was the one. All the coaches were saying he was the one that initiated it was they were all taking the day off. Like the team had the day off, and he was like, "We're still watching film, right? Like I'm still with like me and the coach are still
right?
we're still breaking this down, right?" Like he was not asking, he was suggesting that it might not be a good idea to give him the day off because you might want to be here because we're watching film, right? I don't think I think he knows when to step it down. I think he's very smart in understanding when to get out of bounds, when to not go for the extra yard. I think he does that in outside of the game too. I think he just has a great temperament to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And a lot of people don't understand that it might look different from the outside, but that is a hyper focused dude. He's hyper focused on this plan, and that's, if we win, it's all for him. Like he's the reason.
Yeah. Very heady player. You could definitely tell, especially when you're running an RPO where you have to make reads off of keys and things along those lines. And he's able to do that it's really at an expert level. I mean,
Very little
I
mistakes.
Very little mistakes. Very
Mhm.
little. I mean, nothing fools this guy. And the fact that you also have Steichen with the offense, they're able to they morph either into a running offense solely, or they can chuck it deep and they can pass you to death. It's either or. What,
Mhm.
pick your poison. What do you want? And it's like, so let's spin this forward now to the Super Bowl. I'm looking at this, guys, and I'm thinking like I think it's like we're 1.5 point favorite heading into this game, I think is what the line is. I could be wrong.
I think that's fair.
But I think this defense that we're facing against Kansas City, a couple rookie corners, you got to worry about Chris Jones and Frank Clark. No question about it. They're really good in terms of their defensive line. But outside of that, I think they can be had. The question is, how do you approach this to beat this team? Because you're right. On the other side of it, the coin, Mahomes. And I got all the respect in the world for that dude. That dude is just like the pinnacle of like the best quarterback in the league right now. And they had a slugfest through Cincinnati to get here. And to say like, oh, we're just going to wipe the floor with this team. No, this team is like, they're built solid up and down that entire team. It's basically Andy Reid 2.0 over there. He's reinvented himself, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I'd love to get Steve. What do you think in regards to the Chiefs heading into this game? Confidence level. Let's talk about that. What do you think? This is.
Yeah, I mean, I I think we can do it, but it's not going to be easy. That's
No.
just, it, Mahomes. If we were playing this week, I might feel better because he's still going to be hobbled, but I don't know what that extra week is going to do for his mobility.
Yeah.
Depending on how bad the sprain is, because he looked pretty bad kind of late in the game. Like he was hurting.
No question.
In Cincinnati. So if he's, an additional week is definitely going to help him get something back. And it's going to be tough. Now, the good news is our defense has to practice against Jalen every week. So, you've got the mobile quarterback sort of already figured out how to scheme it. But, Mahomes is on another plane. So,
yes.
They've got to contend with that defensive line, too, of our defensive line, I should say. And, that team, I mean, my God, you had an unbelievable defense where I think we had like 4 guys with double digits in sacks. With the likes, I can't even remember. It has to be going back to the Reggie years of early 90s, guys, when they were like, Reggie was leading the NFL in sacks, and he had Clyde with like another 15 or 16, and you had Mike Pitts and Jerome Brown bringing. I mean, it's
and I can assure you that Andy Reid is sitting there planning And he is not going around to his staff and going, yeah, you know, it would be a good idea to block one of those double-digit sack guys with our backup tight end.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And he's not making those decisions.
Yeah, that is not happening.
The one thing that this defense does well that helps them against Mahomes is they stay in their lanes. They're very rarely beat on weird cutbacks or second decisions. They're very rarely beat on that kind of stuff. So that's a positive of this pass rush. Is it's sound. It's not just guys that, you know, double digit sacks. Like they beat offensive linemen to death this year on scheme, staying in your lanes, letting them step right up into us. We don't have to run after them. They'll come to us if we keep the edges, and there's like 10 of them. Like, and they rotate.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I would like to thank Greg Olson for finally explaining to me what it means to set the edge as a defensive end.
Yes,
because I've heard it for years and I never understood what it meant. And finally he shows a play where Bosa is rushing and he's like, watch, when Bosa gets to the level of the quarterback, he stops and doesn't go past him. I was like, oh, so that's what it means to set the edge.
Set the edge.
Finally they're actually bringing people into the booth that can explain like this is the whole thing why we all love John Madden, because John Madden would break it down and you didn't have to.
No, we love John Madden because boom, bam, and then he hits this guy, bang.
But you learned something at the same time when he did that, because the X's and O's made complete sense.
How good has Greg Olson been? My God,
he is my favorite.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I wish Tony Romo could get to his level.
That's the thing. Romo was good in terms of diagnosing looks, but here you've got Greg, who has obviously played tight end in the NFL, but knows keys like that, where you're like, okay, that's how you set the edge. This is what it's all about. That brings the novices into the fray there. But yeah,
I don't consider myself a novice, but that's like setting the edges beyond football.
That's next. Yeah, that's next level.
That's next level.
Yeah, that's next level.
No question. Next level football, no doubt about that. All right, so if we had to make a prediction, for this Super Bowl,
you're a dick.
Maybe we won't go there. 28-24 Eagles. That's my hope, at least. And I'm praying for a win. But as all three of us know, it's not easy. This is going to be a very tough. Any Super Bowl is going to be hard to predict, and every that kind of a deal. So I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good heading into this game. As long as we stay within our lanes and keep Mahomes contained, I think we've got a shot to win it. I'm not going to say the P word, Steve.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say that at all. I've learned my lesson from years ago, but I don't know. Guys, I think we've got a good shot. What do you all think? Got as good a shot as any, right?
I think we got a shot. I think we absolutely got a shot. I don't know. That we still got time. Like the game's still a long way away. We'll see. We'll see.
Not by the time this airs.
Yeah, but go Birds, and we sure will know the outcome on Sunday. And it's going to be fun. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Hey, big time shout out to Andy Reid. I mean, my God, it couldn't have scripted it any better. Sorry, NFL rigged. Couldn't have scripted any better for your former coach and now the current coach of Kansas City. And here they are. It's like Andy. I love it when we were talking about this too, guys. Andy Reid really changed the entire culture of the Philadelphia Eagles. Really did from start to finish. And got nothing but mad love and respect for that dude. And it's amazing that he's going up against us and us against him too. So we'll see. Should be a lot of fun.
I hope we can win, because I really want to stick it to some people running their mouths the last few weeks.
Norman Julius Esiason.
Well, you know what's funny is, like, we went into that Giants game, right?
Yeah.
and everybody was talking about how hot the Giants were, and all that, and then we crushed them. And all of a sudden, the Giants, they weren't very talented.
Yeah.
Okay, well, which was it? They were hot and ready to go, or they weren't talented?
This team was supposed to be 2007 Giants, 2011 Giants. They're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. They're going to win it. No, they weren't.
Yeah, they almost beat us last game of the season with all backups, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They were a hot team. They were going to win.
Well, also remember the San Francisco line right after the San Francisco game was Purdy was hurt before the game. That is immediately what they went to. That's what they're trying to sell. Oh well, he wasn't 100%. There was no, he wasn't. He sure looked 100% coming into that game. They don't want to.
I haven't heard that at all.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
ESPN.
What?
No surprise.
Yeah.
No surprise.
I think it's entirely clear to anyone with half a brain cell that he was injured when Reddick flipped his arm.
Yeah, that's also not ESPN. With half a brain cell.
Look, I'm going to say this. This because
Close with this.
it was tough to watch that 49er game.
Yeah.
It was.
They were put in a very tough position with the quarterback position.
Okay.
And I don't like to win that way. I would prefer to win straight up, strength on strength. Let's see who's better. I don't enjoy beating a team who ran out of quarterbacks. It's not fun.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm not going to diminish the Eagles' achievement because I've been on the other side of that. We watched the Flyers go 7 games with the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2004 without our number 1 defenseman. Our number 2 defenseman played that whole series with a broken hand. Our number 3 defenseman was lost either for that series or like 2 games into that series. Our number 4 defenseman was a rookie who was probably playing with a concussion. We had Sammy Kapanen playing defense for us. Okay,
yes.
That's like Christian McCaffrey throwing a pass to nowhere.
Well,
so
I believe in Kapanen a little more than I do in Christian McCaffrey.
I agree. I agree. Sammy Kapanen, I have much love for Sammy.
Far better hockey player.
Right, but he shouldn't have been playing defense.
No way.
So, this is something that does happen to teams. They get badly riddled with injuries. And the Flyer team now, Couturier, Ellis, and Atkinson are all out.
Everybody
it's
else.
a totally different team if they're playing. That it happens. And it sucks that it happens to the 49ers in this particular instance, but it happens. So, stop whining.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Get them next year. All right, guys. Second topic here of episode 123 of Two Noobs Talking. And, there's been a sighting of some kind of a balloon.
Alien.
A big-ass balloon. Yeah, I know. Seriously. 60,000 feet in the air, apparently sent over by China. Do you know about this, guys? This is amazing.
I brought you the article.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I didn't realize it until you brought the article. I was like, wait a minute, what the heck? Apparently
Since Steve brought the article, I've been following it like religiously.
Nonstop,
right?
Yeah. Massive spy balloon believed to be from China, and it was from China, later confirmed, was seen above Montana, being tracked as it flies across the continental United States, with President Joe Biden for now deciding against military options. I'll have more to say on that. Still, officials insisted they continue to closely monitor the vessel as they have since it entered the country. Apparently, this thing came down across Canada, and Canada didn't do anything about it either.
Canada wasn't for them.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Well, yeah. Shocked as like what, with Trudeau up there. Brigadier General Pat Ryder said in a statement on Thursday, quote, the U.S. government has detected and is tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that is flying over the continental United States right now. NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, continues to track and monitor it closely, is what Matt tried to say. The balloon does not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground at this time, The balloon is currently traveling at altitude well above commercial air traffic. Well, that's nice to know. How come we don't shoot the damn thing down? Since it came over our airspace. The Canadian Department of National Defense, Canadian Armed Forces, are working with NORAD to assess the situation. Canada is, quote, taking steps to ensure the security of its airspace, including the monitoring of a potential second incident. That's nice to know. Apparently, Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, was going to fly over to Beijing, talk to Xi Jinping over there. That's since been canceled because of this balloon. Steve, I want to get your thoughts on this. We get criticized for, our airspace. Now, all of a sudden, we got this balloon. What do you got?
I'm sorry, but as you were reading that, talking about balloons, I'm picturing the Joker. He stole my balloons!
Why did someone tell me he had one of those things?
All right, before I ask Bob for his gun, by the way, before we started, I just was checking again. It seems that another one of these was detected over Latin America.
Yeah.
And also, since the article we discussed on Thursday, you're right, China has confirmed it's theirs.
Yep.
But
went off course still.
It was a civilian weather balloon that went off course.
Really?
That just goes to show you how stupid their government thinks we all are.
Yeah.
We would believe that. Like a weather balloon, you put up a weather balloon and it's halfway across the world and blew off course. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't buy that.
No. And to our military's credit, their response was like, no, it's a
Now, Biden will not shoot this thing down because of the civilian population. And,
that's also stupid because it was
is
over
the dumbest
Montana.
statement I've ever heard.
Like 5 people live in Montana. Why? There's plenty of open space in Montana for you to bring this down, and it's a balloon.
Yeah,
it's a balloon.
And by the time they were talking about it, it was over one of the missile silos that it was looking at. So,
yeah,
you might be able to just drop it there.
Yeah. You might shoot this thing down and find out what the hell there is carrying this thing over 60,000 feet. That's my question.
The rationale, the more detailed rationale, as I've had it explained to me now, is the threat to people on the ground to shooting it down is not outweighed by the intelligence they could possibly be getting from this balloon. Because the theory is they could get, it's not really much better than they could do with the spy satellites that are up in orbit anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like the balloon's getting them any extra sensitive stuff, but I don't know. I would still want to shoot it down. And the plan apparently now is Biden wants to shoot it down once it's over the Atlantic. Once it's already got all our state secrets and stuff. So,
yeah. That's the thing that's frustrating.
This guy.
It's a balloon.
I know.
But it's transmitting, so they're already getting the information. So why not shoot it down earlier than later? I totally don't understand that concept. Like, of course it's going to get to the Atlantic. Of course it will shoot it down, but it's not like it's flying back and going to hand, oh, here's all the stuff we wrote for you. Like they already have it. Like the fact that you're going to let it fly anywhere else is just ridiculous.
In one of the I guess you could say chilling quotes by the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Mao Ning said this, quote, I want to stress that before it becomes clear what happened, any deliberate speculation or hyping up will not help. The Chinese side is gathering the facts and hopes all sides will handle this matter in a cool-headed manner. We act in accordance with international law. Really?
They're communists. They do not follow international law.
They don't follow. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
They're communists.
Yes.
Let's do an experiment and send a balloon over Chinese airspace and let's see how
what
cool
happens.
and rational they behave.
Yeah.
Steve, I bet you dollars to donuts it doesn't get off the boat. It's still connected to the boat when it gets shot. I bet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
They
I
don't
love
play.
this.
I'm
love
impressed
this.
by that. They don't play.
I love this quote by the ministry. Affected by the westerly belt and over its limited controllability, the airship seriously deviated from the predetermined route. Well, then where the hell are you sending a balloon 60,000 feet in the air? Where the hell are you sending it? What's the purpose? I want to know exactly what the purpose is before I shoot that son of a bitch down, to be
I'm
perfectly
sure they
honest.
already know the purpose.
Yeah, but if they're according with international law, which they claim to do, they ought to like say what the purpose of this balloon is, and just can't say, "Well, it's weather."
Well,
That's
all right.
BS.
Let's
That's
shoot it.
100% BS, and everyone knows it.
Let's shoot it down and collect the hard drive that's on there, and we'll see the pictures of the jet stream that it took, on its journey,
Yeah,
and all the flowers and raindrops and all the things it's been collecting.
yeah.
Because I'm
But-
sure that's what's in there.
Yes, because
Oh, there's a picture of your missile silo. Oh, how did that get there?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The defense official, this is now in the U.S., U.S. defense official said that the U.S. has used multiple channels to tell China how seriously they were taking this incident. I love this. The government in
We're
action.
taking it super serious.
We're
taking it super serious, guys. You better not be spying on us, okay?
We have made clear we will do whatever is necessary to protect our people and our homeland.
Except shoot it down.
Except shoot it down. We will have options to deal with this balloon, except shoot it down. Shoot the damn fucker down. I'm sorry. I'm serious. Like, you got to shoot this thing down. You got to collect that data that they have collected inside that balloon. I'm dead serious about this.
We are a first world country, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
We don't have the capability to procure a balloon floating above our airspace without injuring anyone on the ground. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Even
sure
Batman
we
had
have-
one of those.
Yeah.
Batman had one of those things.
Things.
He could do it. Get Batman on the case. He'll bring it down.
I'm pretty sure we have the technology.
You would think.
Probably in the missile silo in which they are taking a picture of. Which I don't understand why it didn't fight back. I don't understand. Like, you took a picture of me. Wouldn't you think you would protect that? I don't know. It just makes sense.
You would think. All you have to do is scramble a couple of jets and shoot it down.
No,
That's all you have to do.
no. That's not. You can't. The jet's gonna fly right by the balloon. Like, oh shit, there it went.
Exactly. Or fly into it, not even though they hit it.
What was that? Oh, it's
That
probably a
could be done.
bird. We're good.
No, but you could scramble some people up there to monitor it. You could take a look at this thing, and you could shoot it out of the air and carefully make sure it gets down to the ground.
Yeah, really.
We have the technology. We really do.
Yeah, it really is amazing. I mean, this is why it's so serious. The balloon was seen over Montana on Wednesday. Military aircraft spotted in the sky above Billings were U.S. Air Force F-22s. So it's flying over a base where our F-22s stand. Not to mention some other.
But
things,
it's
which I'm
just
not gonna-
collecting weather.
What is?
It's
yeah,
just
see,
weather.
No, it's not.
yeah.
But you can't
It's
scan
not.
it. You're telling me with technology nowadays, right, that China couldn't scan an F-22, right? And then
Yeah.
over the next year or two, probably duplicate most of it. They don't have to have all of it. They just need most of it, right?
Yep.
So,
Shoot
is
it.
that what the president wants? China to
Wait,
have
could we-
F-22s? Why not just
could
give
we-
them to them?
Could we
Just
get
shoot it down.
what's the Goodyear blimp doing these days? Could we send that up there to bring the balloon down?
It's probably covering
That
Tom
would bring
Brady's
60,000
retirement.
feet.
Oh yeah, probably. Yep, he's
the
still
second
retired
time.
down there. Still
Yeah.
retired.
Can we
Shoot
trade
the
Tom
damn
Brady
balloon
for this
down.
satellite? We'll just give them Tom Brady, and
Yeah.
they tell us what they did with the satellites. I'd be all for that.
Yeah. I'd be all
Just
for
give
that
Tom
too.
Brady. Yeah, just give
100%.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah. Maybe a bag of footballs too.
I'm Pickle Rick. Cartoon Network, call me. Call me. Call me.
Give this man a damn job.
Yeah, right.
He deserves it.
You might as well. Yeah, this is all going to go in post production. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, gentlemen, here we go. Third topic. As we roll on here, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but brain implants are now a big thing, Johnny.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
famous with like saying, "Oh, Elon Musk is threatening to take over the world with brain implants." Well,
yeah.
of course, you send us this article here from the UK Daily Mail. Oh boy. Brain implant thinner than a single human hair could allow you to use social media with your, and I love the end of this, mind.
Sorry.
There you go. Love it. Scientists have developed a brain implant that is thinner than a human hair. I don't like where this is going. And would allow you to use social media with your mind. The highly experimental chip is designed for paralyzed or mute patients. Again, I don't like where this is going. With paralysis who cannot use their limbs to communicate via a computer. But it could also allow healthy people to use social media with the power of their mind alone. I really don't like where this is going
This
at
this
all.
sounds this sounds an awful lot like the
Yeah.
IEYE
Yep.
phone from Futurama, where they go in and they
Yep.
inject it into your eye.
Exactly.
Now hold still.
It's only gonna hurt a lot.
It might hurt. It's going to hurt a ton. The implant, called the Layer 7 cortical interface, oh boy, is a strip of flexible thin film material like a piece of scotch tape. The strip has electrodes on and has a thickness that is 1/5 of a human hair, which helps it conform to the brain's surface without damaging any tissue. To implant the device, surgeons make a very thin slit in the skull and slide it in as if they were putting a letter in a box. Oh my. Precision's CEO, Michael Mager, told CNBC the slit is less than a millimeter thick, which means patients do not even need their head shaved to have it put in. Well, that's a relief. I mean, if I'm going to have this done, thank God. He said this, guys, quote, "I think this is a big advantage compared to technologies that require, for example, a craniotomy, removing a significant portion of the skull, which takes a lot of time and has a lot of risk of infection.
And a really big hammer.
I've never met anyone who wanted a hole drilled into their skull. Really? I've never met those people either. Who would have thunk it?"
Maybe
Okay, before
the
I go off
six
the deep
people.
end here.
Maybe the 6 people that thought they could fight a grizzly bear. They might be the only ones on board for this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need another hole in my head. Yeah. Yeah, put it in there. Give me 2 more.
Hold still. Right? Oh my God. Johnny, you brought this article to us. This is
Yes.
crazy. Thoughts? What do you think, bud?
It's scary. This isn't just crazy.
Oh,
Because
think?
a small part of the population will be on board for this.
Uh-huh.
And the
Because-
ridiculous is that they want to do it so they could flip through social media.
Why pick up your phone to type?
Yeah, when
What
you could
have to
just do it with your eyes. Yeah. It's
Yeah. I could just think about it.
it's
I can
scary.
download
Really?
porn 3 times faster in my brain.
Exactly. Once my eye goes blink blink, there you go. It's right there.
But this is,
Yeah, this is
I
dumb.
don't see the benefit of this. Yeah.
No. But yet,
Yeah.
but yet they can't figure out how to not do electric cars where they work efficiently because people are working on shit like this.
Yeah.
Like let's stop working on the dumb shit and start working on the real shit, and we might
Yeah.
get it done quicker.
Yeah. The good news is towards the end of the article, the implantation is also reversible if patients decide to change their mind. Really, is that before or after they're controlled by Facebook and
Yeah,
Twitter
right,
and
right.
Instagram and the
The-
socials and
The
whatever.
benefit is that not only can you bend the will of your phone to yours, but Facebook can bend your will to theirs. It's
Yep.
also,
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd think. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just like, this is sci-fi type stuff, and it's really weird and strange. And
But it's not
I mean,
sci-fi. It's actually happening.
but it's actually happening.
This is
Yeah.
why you need to shut this shit down. This is
Yeah.
not.
There's no benefit to this at all.
John,
Period.
I liked what you said in pre-production, which was this would be great if it was primarily for people who are paralyzed or
Absolutely.
can't use technology because their hands don't work or something. But
Yeah.
here we are. We're doing it for social media and not for the people who are in dire need of assistance.
That is such a such a great point, Steve, because I remember this was years ago at a church I went to before I go to the church I go to now. This was years ago. There's a person that was stricken with ALS, and if you know what ALS is, you're
Mhm.
basically just shut your entire nervous system shuts down. It's a rare disease, horrible disease. Everything gets shut down. You don't think. This person though was able to spell, basically looking at a light
Mhm.
bright type of system, you know, to be able to determine A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like the entire alphabet was all decoded in lights. And so this person using her eyeballs was able to communicate letters, individual
Well,
letters, left
that's
and
Mhm.
right.
how Stephen Hawking, I
Yeah.
believe, did it.
Yeah.
It was something
Yes.
similar. He had
That
ALS
is
and yeah.
Yeah, that's important. That's really what we should be striving for rather than just saying, "Oh, well, we could just implant this into somebody's brain and just like, oh, they could just, oh, if I have a thought, I could just post this on Facebook." That's weird. That is just
Yeah.
really weird. It has no value whatsoever.
We should be using it for a good cause, or shut it down.
Yes.
If you're not gonna use it for a good, th there should be somebody out there,
Yeah.
that can this kind I mean, private funding, you might not be able to. You're gonna get, nutcases with stuff like this, but there
I
has to
I
be
have
take the
to
market. There has to be somebody there that can be like, "This isn't a
look,
good idea."
look,
Yeah.
just based on the way it's used and how it's implanted tells
Mhm.
me the FDA is gonna have to have some involvement
I'm hoping
before
so,
you can
yes.
market it.
Yeah.
Um,
No question.
yeah. So there will be some form of government oversight at some point if
Yeah.
this is to become a reality. And the FDA is
Yeah.
the one that comes to my mind first
No
because
question.
it should be classified as a medical device.
That's what I'm
Um,
thinking. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
right.
But even then, guys, to that point, it's like I mean, maybe it's the article and maybe I'm reacting against the article. I don't think a paralyzed person would want to like have a thought on Facebook. I mean, the
I
last
don't
thing they want to
know.
do is put
I don't know because that
maybe
is community. I mean, it might not be a
it
bad
Yeah.
is.
thing. It shouldn't be the
No,
reason, but I
Right.
mean,
maybe that's it. Maybe
all
that's what
it
I'm like
yeah, all
the red flag is
inclusive. I
going off.
mean, yeah,
Mhm.
I would like everybody to be able to, tweet and
Mhm.
say what they wanna say, in a medium that
Sure.
we all, engage in.
Yeah. By the way, in terms of what Steve said, in terms of FDA approval, Precision, this company, is looking to gain approval on this, and depending on the speed of how things went with the vaccines, oh, this
No, no,
might
no,
be green
no,
lighted.
no,
No, I'm kidding.
no. They're gonna need because there is
Yeah,
nothing out
Yeah.
there that exists like this. They're
Emergency,
gonna have
yeah,
to do a
yeah,
full
full 10-year, whatever.
pre-market approval,
Yeah,
and that's gonna
okay,
require like clinical testing and all kinds of garbage. So they're not.
yeah,
This ain't coming to market anytime soon. Trust me.
no, no, but it is. I guess the cons outweigh the pros on this. Sounds like it. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think in terms of that? Do
using
you
it
think
for
it's
that
more positive or negative on this? Johnny, go for you. What do you
using
got?
it for social media, that
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a full positive, but maybe the next level would be opening it up to someone else that could
Mhm.
change the direction of it.
Mhm.
I I don't
Like
I
a
think it
like an
I think
anti-social
it's
media type of
yeah,
thing.
I
Yeah.
think it's what not anti so social media has its spot. That's like 25% of the whole that
Ugh.
this should be working.
Yeah.
Because some people if you can't write a letter, I mean, what's the easiest way to do it is
Oh,
post it on
sure.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Like social media is so like there is a place for it, but it's not the only place that this device should be. This could be having a quadriplegic be able to use a banking app. I don't know why they're
Mhm.
saying. Maybe they're trying to grab the headline with the social media, but I could see it working with banking apps and you know
Yeah.
anything else on the phone that you use for the betterment of your own for your own life. If that would be good. I don't know why they're that's the thing I think that is negative about it is there's like, oh, it'll help people use social media. I don't think people care about social media that much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I would tend to agree with you in that regard. But if it helps somebody down the road in terms of actual communication, then yeah, I could
I
definitely see
think
a
that's
positive in that
I
regard.
think that's where it's 100.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. Steve, thoughts? Is
Yeah,
that
no, I agree. To
Mhm.
the extent it's helping people who need the help
Mhm.
to be able to communicate better, it's absolutely great. It's probably the media that's decided to run with. You could use Facebook and suggest that healthy people are just going to go into a store and get these things poked into their brain.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably where most of this is coming from.
Yeah,
That is, to me, is a bad idea.
Yes.
exactly.
Helping people who need it is a good idea.
It's a good idea. Yep. Hey guys, before we close out the episode here, did you realize today is February 4th as we record
Mhm.
this. This is the 5th anniversary of the Eagles' first Super Bowl championship.
Oh,
Yep.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a- Nick Foles gave us a huge shout out there, and it's like, oh man, the statue,
Gotta
Love that
love
the
guy.
Nick Foles.
guy, the man, love him.
Yeah.
But on that
I
note,
am
guys,
wearing the same jersey, by the way, that I wore during that game.
there.
Nice.
Oh, see, there
The
you go.
deuce is loose.
The
Nice.
deuce is indeed loose.
Where's he
Absolutely.
going? He's leaving Detroit to, I think Carolina or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
he's hooking up with Frank Reich,
With Frank Reich.
which is great for his career. He's gonna be a
Is that
head coach
offensive?
soon.
Is he
He's
offensive
I hope so.
coordinator?
I
No.
hope so. I haven't read the article yet,
Yeah.
but that's just good. Get
Okay.
with it. He needs to shine. That dude is a talent.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
that dude is a great human being, and he's a great coach as well. No question about it. All right, guys, here we go. Last topic. This one caught our eye. All three of us being Seinfeld fans. PhillyVoice.com article here. New Jersey Seinfeld bill would require telemarketers to provide their own contact information. The measure, which passed out of the state Senate Commerce Committee last week, aims to increase transparency among spam callers. And of course, this is interesting. Way back, of course, season 4, it was a great bit. Jerry was having a conversation with a guy who's a telemarketer. He sees a phone call trying to get him to upgrade to a price or long distance phone service. And Jerry's like, oh, no, I need your number. I'll call you back and we'll talk about it. So, well, I can't really do that. And it's like, oh, you don't want people calling you at home.
No.
And it's like, no. I said, well, now you know how I feel. And he hangs up the phone. It was a great bit.
Yeah.
And everybody tried to copy it. It was really hard to, because you're trying to remember it back then. But this sitcom bit apparently was part of the inspiration for a bill introduced in New Jersey state legislature by State Senator John Bramnick, a Republican serving portions of Morris, Somerset, and Union County. So that's like kind of northern New Jersey area. The so-called Seinfeld bill, which advanced out of the State Commerce Committee last week, would not only require telemarketers to identify themselves and what they're selling within the first 30 seconds of an unsolicited phone call, but they also have to provide information about their employer, give recipients information on how to get in contact with them. Bramnick said this in a release. New Jerseyans should know who they're talking to on the phone and what's being sold to them by telemarketers. And the proud, I guess in a selfish way, he says this: my legislation requires more transparency from telemarketers and punishes those who lie and misrepresent information on sales calls. Well, good for you. Nicely done.
I don't feel he deserved that voice.
It's a noble
Only
cause.
because he says my,
It is a noble-
my,
it is.
my. It's
Wow.
annoying when they say, oh, my. It's like, well,
My.
good for you. Okay, good for you.
Well, it's his bill. It's what he gets to hang his hat on.
I watch Seinfeld. I'm smart. I can pass a bill. It's my bill. It's mine.
Exactly. Violators of the law would result in a disorderly persons offense, which carries a maximum sentence of to 6 months in jail or $1,000 fine. In addition to other legal penalties, gentlemen, in that regard. It is already illegal under New Jersey law for telemarketers to make any unsolicited calls to residents on a no-call list. Already illegal in the state.
Mhm.
They are already required to state their name, what they're selling within the first 30 seconds. Still, Bramnick's bill takes particular aim at spam callers who make frequent pre-recorded calls to residents every day, targeting seniors. No surprise. Steve, your thoughts on this? Since this has a little bit of law mixed in, what do you think in relation to this Seinfeld bill?
It's just a publicity stunt.
Well, on
Let's
that note, good night,
let's
everybody.
let's be fair. The
Yeah.
vast majority of spam callers are not legitimate businesses.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they're not going to abide by this. And I don't know that the penalties, if you could even catch who's responsible.
Yeah.
It's, the what these scammers are doing is illegal to begin with. And by requiring them to give contact information, that's not gonna, because I could give you bogus contact information.
Yes.
All right, and then you go look it up. It's bogus. All right, how do we find the guy who was scamming you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, half the time they're calling from India anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few months back, I stumbled upon a great YouTube channel called, I think it's called Scammers Payback or something along that line.
Oh, there you go. Link that
Where
up there. Maybe.
This guy, and I think it's a group, but most of the videos it's one guy. He calls or gets calls from like India scammers who need to fix his computer or something, and so he plays along as like a little old man or a little old woman, and while he's giving them, it's like, you have to go in and do this. While he's doing that, he's hacking into their computer and like deleting their files or stealing their stuff. Like he'll turn on their computer. It's like it's hysterical to watch.
That's awesome.
That's fun. That's great.
Yeah.
This bill, I mean, I get the intention, but it's really not going to have an effect because the ones it's aimed at are already doing things illegally. How is this going to make them stop?
It's not. That's a good point. Yeah. FTC's National Do Not Call Registry is meant to prevent people from receiving telemarketing calls, provides an avenue to report unwanted calls and interruptions. Still, while that is always in place, gents, 46% of Americans reported receiving spam calls on their cell phone every day in 2021. That's crazy. 46%. Phone carriers do not shut down scammers unless they're actively doing something illegal, like pretending to be the IRS, law enforcement. That was one of my favorites. When I was flying home from the Netherlands one time, I remember like landing, and all of a sudden, there was a call, voicemail. We need to talk, Mr. Craig. You haven't paid your taxes, and this was like in June, and I'm thinking like, well, I've already paid my taxes. Like, what the hell?
I'm already done.
Look it up online. Of course, the IRS never calls you. They never do that. They always respond by letter, by mail, and stuff like that. So it was like, come on, you just delete it, move on. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will fall for that kind of a scam, and that's unfortunate in that regard. The FTC has been waging war against spam callers for nearly 20 years, guys. 20 years this has been going on. It's been crazy. Johnny, what do you think in relation to this bill? Do you think? I tend to agree with Steve, and I don't think it's really going to matter all that much.
I don't think it's going to do much either. You could throw up a couple roadblocks just to make it a little harder as it goes, and I think that's all this bill is. They're not really dealing with the issue. The issue is training people and I'd rather not see him put a bill out and put public funding to educating people on what to look for, why to look for it. Not scare people, but a good government informational video will help. You know what I mean? Like it's short and to the point, and
tips and tricks, and
I haven't read the bill, so I do not know if that's in there at all. If it is, good on them. But that's what I would like to see, instead of a law. Because what does a law actually do to someone that never follows the law? It really just hangs out there. You could be using your powers to be doing other things and education is the first one that I can think of, is educate us on how we can't get scammed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the amendment, I just clicked on the link within the article that we have referenced here, guys, and it's interesting. It's just a one-page amendment to the original State Commerce Committee statement.
Nice.
921.
He's following new rules. Nice.
It really is amazing.
Even it's not 277 pages.
It is not. It's one page.
with
It's amazing.
5 different things going on. Oh wow!
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why
I guess that
never-
only happens. That only
That's
happens
why
at
I
the
didn't
federal
read
level,
the,
apparently.
Yeah, I didn't read the bill because I was like, I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Exactly. It just says here the committee reports favorably on the bill 921 with the committee amendments. As amended, the bill requires a telemarketer within 30 seconds of making a telemarketing sales call to provide the customer with name and telephone number.
I do like that one because that is something that can help people figure if you're full of shit or not. Like if you've got, and let me quick tell the story. I was telling you guys, I got a text message after I had bought lunch when I was in Houston, which is, 2.5 hours away from where I live. I got a text message very shortly after I had purchased lunch with my debit card, and it came from PNC Services and said that my bank account was fraudulent. Well, thank God I don't have PNC, and I was able to, but see how that was something to be like, I don't have a PNC bank. That's bullshit. Well, what if I did have PNC? That could have been fraud really quick. So announcing it does kind of help in a small way, because if you don't have goose bottleneck services, you're not going to fucking take the phone call. Like who is that? I don't deal with those people. Most people know who they deal with financially.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a great point. Well,
I guess those institutions too usually make pretty clear we're never gonna like call you and ask you for your social security number. And
yes,
stuff.
yes.
It's like
that is true.
They usually give you an easy 1-800 number that you can reach them at, and they, I've got fraud detection on credit cards, and so in the past I would get something like a text message from Discover that says, there's been a purchase, and then you can either call the Discover number or if you know what it is. I think.
Did you authorize this purchase?
Yeah,
you
can. Really, this is kind of an interesting final paragraph here of the amendment. The prohibition on unsolicited sales calls and the requirement to disclose certain telemarketer information required in this bill do not apply to telemarketing sales calls when a customer contacts the telemarketer via phone call or website and affirmatively requests
makes complete sense. Yeah, makes
total sense there in that regard. Yeah, so that makes sense there. But yeah, it's amazing. It's only one page to the amendment. That's hilarious. I was expecting the thing to go like, to Steve's point, a couple hundred pages, and I'm like scrolling through it. I'm not going to.
I literally didn't read it. I only read the article because like it was post-traumatic stress syndrome of hitting bills in this line of work and being like, oh, I really don't. I want to go to bed. I don't not want to read through this whole thing.
I can attest. We have a landline just because of various reasons. And
you are in an underground bunker down there, so there you go.
America.
Verizon offered us I think it was Nomo Robo service.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's a couple of them. I think but they offered it for free. And so I turned it on, and it's very useful because our landline would get like 4 or 5 calls a day, and even when they hang up on you as a robot, you still get a voicemail, and you have to go through them all. That doesn't happen anymore because
that's awesome.
It's really helped, and just for educating people, I never answer the phone unless it's a number I know.
Yeah,
and if it's important, they will leave a voicemail and tell you to call back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the little things like that. Just keeping that in the back of your mind constantly, just to kind of think like, okay, caller ID is important, and not only that, but just making sure that if there is anybody, you don't always have to answer the phone all the freaking time. You can just let it go, unless you know that it's someone that you want to hear from. Then you pick up the phone at that point. In that regard. So
I never do it, but there is something I would like to do one day. But they tell you not to answer those calls anyway. So, what I want to do is like answer the call and just say, I don't have a phone, and then hang up.
Nice. I fully support that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seinfeld-esque at that point. I don't have a phone. What the hell? Hang up.
I actually stole it from another Cartoon Network show, guys.
Well, someone hire this man from Cartoon Network. Jeez.
There you go. Yeah.
Jeez, thanks, John. I really like the endorsement. Oh, shut up, Morty.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Episode 123 is in the can. It's on the 124 next week. 2, 3. But now it'll be 1, 2, and 4. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, go
right.
Birds.
So hopefully we'll see what happens in the next.
Hopefully Matt
weeks.
didn't jinx us for us. Let's go.
Andy, don't wear all red, Andy, because I'll have all the jokes about the Kool-Aid guy all day long. wear white with a little bit of, and then a little red. Don't wear full red. Don't wear full red, dude, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, guys, take care. See you next week. Talk to you soon. Hey, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Two Noobs Talking. If you want to see more of Two Noobs, you can check us out on our various social media platforms located right here. Until then, see you next week with another episode of Two Noobs Talking. Take care.